What's up, everybody? This is Blaze, aka Blaze is Too Much for You.
And it's Dangerous Donovan.
And we're back at it again, a little something else. Except for this one, we're not responding, we're actually bringing this to the table. What is the deal with the no labels?
Yeah, okay. um, this was generally my idea, so don't blame this on Blaze, whoever you are out there who are no labels and everything. This was my idea to do this. I don't want to offend anybody. It's just strictly my opinion and what I believe with the no labels thing. I found this to become very popular now, as so Stud on Stud has gotten a little popular, and it's becoming very popular now with the no labels thing, and I just don't quite understand it myself. I'm not a no label. I'm a stud aggressive. I'm very, I mean, I can say I'm not traditional, but I'm pretty traditional. I'm pretty easy to explain. Nothing too serious or off. You know, no labels. I really don't understand, because when we were born into this world, we're given names. We were given names. So that's one label that we already have going into the world. Not only that, but female and male breaks us down to help describe who we are or what we are. And that right there is the second label. So that's two labels already.
And also, of course, while you're being created, the DNA, of course, which is totally different from everybody else's, which I understand is deoxyribonucleic acid. No one's is the same.
No one.
And that's a label by itself, and that's how we trace exactly who you are, is through your DNA. And that's a label there. So, as far as the no labels, in my opinion, I feel a no label is described as a person who does each and everything. I mean, no label doesn't run in the heterosexual world. It's really only in the in the life, and
Yeah.
for the most people, I tried to believe that, okay, no labels were just people who did not want to be considered a stud or a femme. No. What I have found out, basically, a no label is a person in the community that does either, they're either versatile, where they could be stud and femme. They do studs and femmes and maybe dudes too,
Right.
No labels do everything, so,
whack.
because there's no label for doing everything. There is no label, and there
Right,
you have
there's
it,
no
no label.
and that's what gets me, because I'm like, I noticed that there are people who would say, yeah, I'm not a stud, I don't like that shit, I'm a lesbian. Lesbian is a label. That's one label. That's what label that we are now. To break it down, just to describe dominant, you say stud or dom. To describe feminine, you say femme or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to tell you, bisexuals do male and female. So there is no bisexual stud. There is no femmes, they still call each other femmes, but really, they're not even gay if you're bi. You're just strictly bisexual. Period. I don't care if you dress dominant and you consider yourself a stud and all that. That's bi. Fuck that. You do dick, that's bi. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how I see it. Now, no labels, I believe it's just an excuse to not explain all the bullshit you doing to people. Yes, I do understand that, okay, there should be no judgment in the LGBT community. You should not judge. I do understand. I'm not, I love everybody regardless of whether you a no label, bisexual, whatever. But my thing is that the reason why there are labels is so things are easier understood. Easier to explain. Now, if I'm dressed like this, but I tell people, oh, I'm a no label, that means I don't have to explain to people why I'm walking out the house fucking this nigga, coming home fucking my girlfriend, and then we all have a threesome with a dude involved. And then if you tell your friends about it, that's okay because you a no label. You know what I'm saying? But that's not fair, because I consider myself a stud. I don't do dudes. You know what I'm saying? I don't do studs. I just do strictly femmes. I cannot consider myself a no label. Now, I could be like, okay, I don't label myself because, it's too many labels in this world and all that. It's going to be labels regardless. It's going to be labeled. How can you tell one thing from another? How can you tell salt from sugar if there's no fucking label unless you taste it? But if you're looking on the outside of the jar, you see sugar and you see salt, you're not gonna know which one.
And I could say she brought up a good point, because I mean, how are you gonna identify exactly who is what? There's no labels. Like, for instance, you have the stud. You have the stud who do films, the stud who do studs, the studs who do dudes. You have the films, okay? If you were to put basically 5 films, 5 lesbian films and 5 bisexuals, how would you be able to tell who's who? You're going to have to label somebody.
Somebody going to have to be to say, look, I'm this and she's that. There is no, oh, I do everything, because not everybody does everything. Now, I do understand with no labels, I believe it's just easier to explain the shit that you do. Because in the LGBT community, getting dick and pussy is really not accepted. Especially if you are supposed to be homosexual, which means same sex only. You're not hetero. So that means gay is really for the people who are all the way. Gay, all the way. We get that. You know what I'm saying? So if you are not all the way and you're doing dick and pussy, that's not all the way, so you are not gay. You're bisexual. You know what I'm saying? And that right there can tell you, that's the breakdown. That's the label. Because then anybody could look at me and say, hey, well, they ain't got no labels, so I guess she doing whatever. Unless I tell them. But if I let a girl know, yeah, I'm a stud, I don't do, you know what I'm saying, don't do stud on stud, don't do niggas, they know, regular stud, I don't do no labels and all that other type shit. Labels are necessary, I believe. Labels are very necessary in order to break down and to bring understanding. Because it's going to be hard to explain things otherwise. Unless you don't want to explain it at all, and then that's when you say, I'm a no label.
Perfect example. If there was a stud, say the stud was a friend of yours or whatever, and you have a femme friend who trying to holler at that stud, and so, the femme be like, alright, so, is she a stud or what? I'm like, oh, she a no label. She a what? Excuse me? Who? Is she a stud or a femme? No, she's a no label.
How does she dress? And that's what she's gonna ask.
And
like,
then,
okay,
so what if she go over there and be like, okay, well, she dressed dominant, so I'm just gonna call her a stud. But most no labels be like, no, don't call me a stud, don't call me a femme. But we're basically identifying you to what's socially acceptable.
Right. I mean, now, don't get me wrong, we shouldn't be talking about what's socially acceptable, because of course homosexuals are not socially acceptable.
But as far as inside our community, we know what's socially acceptable in our community, okay?
Yeah.
Because, believe me, all this no label bullshit did not come until recently, and I'm putting my foot down on that one.
Yeah, that's
never
some
heard this
shit
until recently.
And that's because people are breaking the rules. Like, if you still like dick, don't consider yourself gay. Now I understand people making mistakes. You gonna make a little mistake and be like, oh, I thought I was a stud, but I like dudes, so now I'm just about to be, bi or whatever, or I'm about to just go back to straight life. I can understand that, but be truthful. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I'm a stud, but yeah, you fucking niggas on the side. And, if somebody find that shit out, they be like, son, why you lie? Why you make me believe that you like pussy when you like dick too? You know what I'm saying? Just let people know, be truthful. And that's what the labels are for, to let niggas know, look, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be hard to understand. I'm a stud, I'm a femme, I'm a bi, I'm whatever, trans, whatever you consider yourself to be. Hey, it's like that,
Well, there it is, right there. Basically, the labels are there to identify you, so that other people can know who you are, basically. So we know who is who.
So, and we believe that no labels are just for people who don't want to explain what they are or what they do. They just want to do it without questions asked.
Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that, whatever. But it's your girl Blaze, a.k.a. Blaze Too Much For You.
Dangerous Donovan.
And of course, we'll be signing out, but you'll see us again. Peace.
Peace.